In this video, we will cover 5 steps you can take to take your Instagram account to millions of followers. These are the steps that Nathan Chan, founder of Founder Magazine, took to take their Instagram account to about 2 million subscribers. Since I'm using their tips, you might as well check them out on IG. Now, these aren't paid strategies, these are free, so anyone can do them. So watch this video till the end so you know what the proven steps to success are on Instagram. Hi, I'm Emil Christopher, and if you're interested in finding and nurturing your ideal occupation or business niche, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you know whenever a new video comes out. Also, remember to smash that like button below. Oh, and I forgot to say, once a week we have our special series on dominating on social media, where we share some of the best tips from the people who have been there and done that, and we share some of the things that we ourselves have done. The last time I shared how I managed to rank first on YouTube search results for multiple keywords. If you're interested in that, check in the description box or check one of the cards around here. Let's start. Tip number 1. You may have heard this before many times, but you should be looking for other people in your same niche. Obviously, if you're watching this, if you're a business owner, or even if you're not, other people who are doing something that you want to do or what you're doing currently, and you want to see what are some of their best performing posts. And what you want to do is you want to repurpose them and recreate them. Why? Because if you are in the same niche, let's say you're in makeup or you're in beauty, and you want to see what is already working out there so that you can actually make something that's going to get a lot of likes and a lot of engagement. But before you go saying, oh, but I've heard this like 1,000 times before, this is nothing new. It isn't new, but how many of you are actually doing this on a consistent basis, day after day, week after week, doing and repurposing good content that's already been done out there and getting a lot of engagement out of it? It's one thing to say, oh, I heard about it, yeah, I've heard this before, but are you actually doing it? Tip number 2. Create posts that get a lot of engagement. He calls this, always create posts that are more viral or more easily able to become viral. So how do you become viral? Well, what he says is always have a call to action in your post. Now, a call to action doesn't say, hey, buy from me or anything like that. It's a call to engage. So how do you do this? There are several ways. One really good, strong way to do that is by having giveaways and say, hey, if you share this with your friends and you comment on the post and you like it, then you're gonna be able or eligible to earn this prize. This is something that you can potentially do with any business, but it is something that you can very well do if you are a business selling something physical, or even if you are a subscription magazine, in which case it's even easier because your marginal cost is very low. Do you like that, economists? So, taking us back to that, some good examples are some of the Founder Magazine posts, which you can go in and search. They say, hey, maybe you put a quote there that says, only those who work hard get to reap the rewards. Tag a friend who needs to hear this. Then people can tag other people. Or double tap if you like this. Or share with your friends, right? That's the whole point of it. You want to make sure that every single post is something that can resonate with people, yes. And you're doing that by following posts that have already resonated with the audience that you're trying to reach, from tip number 1. But then tip number 2 is always make sure that you're leaving a call to action to engage. So far so good. Comment below if you are getting all of this already, if you already knew it and you are actually applying it. If you're not applying it, tell us why. Tip number 3, which you probably have heard everywhere as well, but I promise there is a trick in here. Post consistently and frequently. Now, what does consistent means? It means that if you're always posting on Tuesdays at a certain time, then you always post on Tuesdays at a certain time. On Instagram, usually you like to be posting at least once a day if you are an account that's very frequent, right? Some of the bigger brands, they all post on average between 1 and 1.5 times per day, which means that they always post once and sometimes they post twice. But these are big brands like the big ones, Coca-Cola and that kind of thing. That's not necessarily a small business like yours or someone who wants to grow very quickly. So many of those accounts are already pretty big. So what is the trick here when it comes to consistency? Well, we add the frequency too. So you are posting at the same time on the same day, so people can expect you, so people can come back and check you out. And this usually has to do with people's behaviors more than them seeking you out necessarily. Why? Because usually maybe people check Instagram on a coffee break that they usually have around the same time every day, and that's when they check the Instagram, so that's when they will see you. You can actually have a better idea of when that happens if you use some tools, some analytical tools like Social Blade, which is something that Nathan recommends, and many of the other people recommend as well. So when it comes to frequency, how often should you do it? Well, as often as possible. I know many of you don't want to hear that. You just want to hear, oh, I can post once a week and I can grow. That's not how it works. The funny thing here is that Nathan says that you should be posting between 4 and 8 times, and he's noticed because of the analytics that the more he posts, the better his account does. In other words, when he was posting 8-10 times a day, he was getting more engagement and his account was growing faster as a result. So you might think, okay, well, can I actually post that often? Well, Gary Vee, I don't know if you guys know him, but he actually says that you should be posting 20 times per day on Instagram using a strong use of Instagram stories. And in case you don't know him, I'll show you. That's what I'm talking about. 7 million followers. My man. Alright, so that means that the more I post, the more we post, the better we do on Instagram. But is that it? Well, no, obviously your posts need to be of a certain quality. But, and this is a big one, most of us do not post as often as we could simply because we need things to be perfect. We don't want to have that negative feedback of people telling us like, oh, your lighting was off, or oh, I didn't like it, or the worst, if you actually publish something and it gets like no likes or like 1 or 2. Well, this is something interesting that Gary Vaynerchuk himself says, and he says, don't be afraid of doing it. Perfection, seeking perfection is just insecurity that you have that is not allowing you to do the steps you need to do to succeed. So, what does this all come down to? Well, it comes down to something that Gary says himself as well, and that is if you want to have a successful business, then you have to have multiple platforms, multiple social media, multiple kinds of media in which you have a platform, in which you have a lot of people seeking your information out, seeking that value that you are providing so that they can potentially become customers. Why? Because you never know when a platform is going to go out and then you're going to be left whiffing on your shoes, right? In Nathan's words, the more you post, the faster you grow. Alright, tip number 4, and that is to actually comment and engage with some of the bigger channels or pages or people in your niche. If you're on Instagram, you gotta go out there and see the people who are in your niche who have a lot more followers than you do. Go into the comment section and add valuable things that add to the conversation. Engage with people. When you do that, people will check you out. This is something that works great on every social media. It's called social media for a reason. And that's why you actually get better results when you're actually being social. This works on Instagram, this works on YouTube. Actually, it's a big part of why I've managed to rack up almost 100 subscribers in just 2 or 3 weeks since I started on YouTube. Simply because I'm engaging with people in other channels and adding value to them. So they check me out, they subscribe, that kind of thing, right? Same thing for IG. Wait, so what does that mean? It means if someone has a question in the comment section, then you answer that question, they'll most likely check your channel out or your page out. It means if someone is going in there and they say they're a fan of something that you're a fan of, you go in and you say, whoa, I'm also a fan of this, and boom, 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 you add a little bit more to the conversation. It isn't rocket science, guys, and if you're watching this, you're probably someone very capable. So go out there and get it. So you actually are consistently reposting or recreating posts that have done very well in your niche. You are actually creating posts that are viral or have the potential to go viral because you're always asking people to engage with the post, to tag someone else, to double tap it, to comment below. And you're posting consistently, and you're posting like 10 times per day, if not 20, like Gary Vaynerchuk says, like Gary Vee says. So what else is left out there? I mean, you're commenting all day, making people check your profile, your file, right? Well, number 5 is one of the biggest tips out there, and that is to get shout outs from bigger accounts. Now, how can you do that? You can do that by actually adding value or sending a product. If you have a product, whether it's physical or a service, and this is something that you can send a sample for, then you can go to some of those accounts and send a sample and let them know, hey, we would like you to check this out. If it's okay with you, we would like to get a post with regards to our product if you find it satisfactory. And this makes sense, especially if you're in places where you can do reviews, like, I don't know, video gaming, or if it's a makeup product. Anything that's physical can be very easily done with that. If it's a subscription service, whatever it is that you're selling that you can provide a sample for, it's very good for this. You can also potentially do it by paying, but this is not a paid tips list. So what else could you do? Well, you can actually add a lot of value to their accounts. You could connect those people with someone else. You could befriend them. You could have someone of a bigger account. And that's some of the stuff that you can potentially do. Obviously, shoutouts are huge because they're giving you what we call social proof from someone who has a huge account. So if you can actually do that, or even with people who have similar sizes to your account, then that exposes you to a lot more people, to a newer audience, to a different audience who will like your content because you're in the same niche and you're providing quality, consistent content, right? You're doing it on a consistent basis frequently, and you know that they work because you are doing it based on the content that other people have used that has worked before, right? So if you haven't done it already, remember to smash that like button below and subscribe to this channel while hitting the notification bell so you know whenever a new video comes out. We actually publish daily, but you should want to subscribe now because next week's episode is going to be us covering how Gary Vee actually produces about 100 pieces of content per day, and you can potentially do that even if you don't have a team working for you. So if that sounds like something you would like to do to increase your social media presence and get a ton more leads for your business, stay tuned and subscribe to this channel. So we've covered 5 proven tips to get your account to millions of followers on Instagram. I've checked a lot of things out there, and believe me, these are the best tips as long as we follow them.